Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Ray Pastor, and today I'm going to give my review and kind of talk about, why I like the new activity trackers and smartwatches and help you make some decisions if you're thinking about buying one, about what to look for, and if you should even have one. Um, I work out all the time. I've been involved in the, tracking my fitness forever. I've had things like, the Nike old, just time your runs. This is like, late 90s, early 2000s. I had one of the first smartwatches that came out. I've had these devices. I've tracked my fitness, tracked my miles per hour with like Google Glass and things like that. I've been using a phone app to track my GPS for a number of years now, and I thought it was finally time for me to invest in a fitness tracker. So I did a lot of research on these things to figure out kind of what features I was interested in, what to look for, and I thought I would share that with everyone since I'm a tech guy and I do a lot of tech reviews. So um, the watch that I selected, and I'm going to tell you about features and what you should look for. What things I look at. So I selected the watch on the screen here, the VivoActive HR. I've had it for a few weeks now and been using it extensively to learn every little in and out about it and stuff. But let me talk to you about the different features of these things and kind of what you should look for. So first of all, because there are a number of different companies out there, I chose a Garmin watch, and I got my wife one as well, which I'll show. I chose Garmin, but there are Microsoft, Fitbit, and a bunch of other ones out there. There's like a slew of companies now. So the real thing to do is not so much pick a company, but rather to pick the features you want and then compare across, because all the companies kind of compete with each other, like there are different levels of watches. Pick the features you want and then compare how they all, how all the brands meet your needs with those features. So first of all, the basic, all of them track your steps. All the watches track like your sleep. That's the basic. That's the bare minimum. That's what they do. They track your steps, and they track like your movement when you sleep. Basic. That's the very most basic level. Obviously, I wanted something more than that because there are a few really important features of these things that I think are worth noting. So the first thing I want to point out is that I definitely wanted it to track my heart rate. Knowing your resting heart rate is it's a very important indicator of a lot of health. So, you know, I don't necessarily want to say that the heart rate monitor on here is as good as like an EKG or something like that or your doctor's office because it's definitely not. But it's an indicator of some things. First of all, just on a health level, if you get this and it's saying that your resting heart rate's like 100 or 90 or a pretty high level, might be worth just getting that checked out with a doctor because the watch could tell you that, and that's an important piece of information. Secondly, if your heart rate is high and you notice after 3 months of working out it's dropped a little bit, that's a good thing. So you can compare your bases on these watches. I don't wouldn't suggest using the heart rate for like your actual like this is what it is, but rather comparing like here's what it was 3 months ago or 6 months ago versus what it is today. Has it improved? You're looking for that improvement within the technology. But it can be very useful. I've been able to use the heart rate to kind of make sure I'm pacing myself correctly in my runs to make sure that I'm at that aerobic state, not doing too much, not doing too little. So that's been very interesting. It's also very interesting to see what my heart rate is when I'm resting and when I'm asleep. Very nice pieces of information. The next thing. Now, I got a watch that tracks a lot of different activities. It tracks swimming, which I thought was huge. It tracks, rowing. It tracks paddleboarding. A lot of different things that I do, which is one of the reasons I got my watch. Now, I got my wife the VivoSmart HR Plus, which basically does the same stuff as mine. Mine's just more like a watch. Hers is more like a fitness band. That's really the only difference between these two. Mine is more like a watch. Hers is more like a fitness band. So, you decide what you want it to look like and do. But they both do the exact same things. Both of ours do. The other thing, so in regards to that, the next feature I want to talk about is swimming. Get a waterproof watch. Not all the companies make them waterproof. I compared my VivoActive and her VivoSmart HR Plus to what Fitbit offered. They were not waterproof. So I was like, well, how could I even compare these two? Waterproof is huge. Why? Well, first of all, I take this thing to the gym and I'm touching it when I'm in the gym. It's all disgusting. When I wash my hands at my end of my workout, I just wash my watch too, and bam, all the germs are off. I couldn't do that with one of the Fitbit ones, and I thought that was ridiculous because I'm not sitting there wiping it with like a hand wipe 20 times a day. Every time I wash my hands, I wash the watch too. That's just in addition to being able to take it swimming with me and it tracks my swimming. Accidentally wearing it in the shower, being able to wear it in the pool and not having to worry. Just get a waterproof one. It's simple. There's waterproof models out there. Just get the waterproof one. For us, that's one of the reasons we chose the Garmin one. The heart rate, waterproof, those were big things for me. Um, and with the heart rate, it tracks your sleep, so you can kind of measure like if you sleep deeply, how much you're moving. It's really interesting to see, and it's pretty accurate. I can tell on days it says my deep sleep is low are the days I wake up not with a good sleep. You wake up on the wrong side of the bed. It's showing me my sleep was not good those days. So it's kind of interesting, and it's accurate in that sense. So it's very interesting pieces of information. The next thing I want to talk about is, let's see, Bluetooth connectivity. So a lot of the companies, for some reason, when I compare the Fitbits keep Bluetooth on 100% of the time. I really didn't like that. I'm a big, I don't like keeping my cell phone against my head. I'm not a big, I care about that radiation aspect of things. While Bluetooth radiation is not as comparable as to like 3G, 4G on a cell phone, it is a significant, it's coming in, it's beaming in at your wrist all the time, and it's connecting to your phone. So I specifically, all the Garmin watches, and I don't know if Microsoft or the other companies do this. I do know Fitbit doesn't because they were the one I compared to. I can turn my Bluetooth off on my watch. So I just turn it on like once a day or once every couple of days and connect to my phone and sync all the information in. I can't see a reason why I would want Bluetooth on all the time, so I'm surprised certain watches don't allow you to turn it off. But I did a test of the amount of radiation, because I have a radiation tester, the electromagnetic field tester, an EMF tester, and I did a comparison of Bluetooth on and off, and it was about, with Bluetooth on, it was about 20 times more, more radiation than with it off. So you've got to think, like, me wearing this watch for 1 year with Bluetooth on is like me wearing this watch for 20 years with Bluetooth off, and the amount of radiation I'm going to absorb. So, it's something to consider. I know a lot of people don't necessarily care about that, but I do. And I'd say, why get one that you can't turn it off when you could just turn it off? There's no reason to have it on. So why even make that decision? Just get one you can turn it off. So that's what pulled me to these two watches for me and my wife, was simply waterproof, heart rate, Bluetooth. Those were the big things. You can see with the stuff that they do. They connect to a phone app. The phone apps have tons and tons of statistics and information that you sync to it. It's really cool to take a look at. And you can find these on sale, different prices. Check out all the brands and find the one that fits and works for you. The one I got is more like a watch. You can see the size on my wrist. It's more like a watch, has a nice watch face, where you can see when I click to the one my wife has, hers is less like a watch face. It's more like the fitness band. So, you decide what you want. But both of our watches do the exact same things. They can both track every activity that you do. Oh, and the last feature that's super, super important, GPS. Forgot about that. Definitely get one with GPS. If you get one without GPS, how are you going to track a bike ride or a long walk? It doesn't work. Just get one with GPS. Why? Because there's models out there with GPS. It can track a bike ride, wherever you're going. It can tell you exactly how far you went. So definitely get one with GPS. The reason I say definitely get one with these features is because these, the features are out there and the price differences are not significant between features and size of the devices or anything like that. So, GPS, heart rate, waterproof, Bluetooth on and off, those are pretty much big 4 things I look for, because they all do steps. They pretty much all track your sleep. So, those are the types of things I look for. And that's about it. You can see this is just the Garmin, but there's, Fitbit, and compare all the companies. I just saw a commercial for the Microsoft band, which looks pretty cool. I haven't done any research on it. And I think that these devices are now at a place where they're worth buying. When I got this, one of the first smart watches, it really didn't do much of this stuff at all, and I didn't think the technology was there. This was about 3 years ago. I think for these, I think the technology is there, considering they're around $100 to $200. Even if I have to buy a new one in 2 years because the technology's changed significantly, I believe that it's worth it. And you can see here the type of stuff that it does on the side. It's kind of cool. My wife and I are competing with each other to see who can, take the most steps each week. Like we challenge each other, and it's kind of cool to set up that kind of competition because it does give you a little drive, and it does tell you, how much you're doing throughout the day, how many steps you take. So it's very interesting. All right, and that's my review. Thanks.